Welcome to Agenda Edina, a news program summarizing the actions taken at City Hall that affect you most. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty. Firefighters from Bloomington, Eden Prairie, and Edina are taking some heat. A new state-of-the-art 6th-floor addition recently opened inside the tower used by firefighters for training at the South Metro Public Safety Training Facility. The new technology produces a more intense heat and faster fire and covers a significantly larger burn area, allowing area firefighters to train for enhanced and specialized high-rise fire and rescue situations.
The training here is more realistic. You can try to simulate high-rise fires, but until you actually do it, it's a different story. Just like anything, you can simulate flying an airplane, but until you actually do it, it's very different. And this is as realistic as it gets without actually fighting a fire in a high-rise.
The flashover burner is the only one of its height in the Midwest and the second one in the United States. How would you get your grocery shopping done if you weren't able to drive and had difficulty carrying bags? Many seniors and disabled people in our community have found a way. Here's what photojournalist Nathalie Gage and I learned about a program that's helping people live independently. Edina resident Donald Kudlowski is doing his grocery shopping.
You can either call the company and use a telephone, or if you have a computer, you can go online.
For the past 8 years, Store to Door has shopped for Donald and delivered his groceries right to his kitchen.
They didn't have any yellow peppers, so they sent another red one.
That's right.
Donald's health issues prevent him from doing his own shopping. He says the Store to Door service has meant far more than keeping his cupboard stocked.
It keeps me living independent. It keeps me in a home. For a while there, I was going to go to assisted living, but with services like this, I can remain in my own apartment.
And that's exactly the goal of Store to Door.
We were founded by a man named Dr. David Berger, who worked for the Wilder Foundation. In the course of doing his research, he found that kind of the tipping point between people being able to stay living in their own home versus having to go into a higher level of care was if they had groceries delivered.
Here's how it works. Clients place their orders for whatever they need at Cub Foods, and volunteers like Marie Smith carefully shop for each item that's on the list. You really try to get people just what they want.
Exactly what they're looking for.
Marie has been shopping for clients like Donald for more than 3 years. She says working with Store to Door was a natural fit.
At that time, we were doing it for both my in-laws too. We were grocery shopping for them. It was kind of a natural to know what seniors were looking for, and I love it.
Whether it's groceries, prescriptions, or cleaning products, Store to Door uses coupons to get clients the best deals. And
They have a sliding fee scale, which I think is just terrific. Store to Door will bring it to me.
Store to Door is one of a handful of programs supported in part with the City of Edina's Human Services funding. If you'd like more information about the Store to Door services or the nonprofit's many volunteer opportunities, call 651-642-1892. If special legislation is not enacted, residents of 2 buildings on France Avenue will vote in different elections. Following every decennial census, the legislative boundaries are reviewed and adjusted as necessary to keep balance between Minnesota's congressional, state senate, and House districts. In late February, the 2012 redistricting plan was released. In Edina, the court followed the school district boundary line when establishing the boundary between districts 49A and 49B east of France Avenue. The 49A-49B boundary splits the buildings at 7200 and 7220 York Avenue. City staff has requested special legislation to correct the problem.
The special legislation that has been drafted will move the line around the apartment buildings so that it's all in one legislative district. And our hope is in the future that we don't have to go back and do this again in 10 years.
So that Hennepin County can complete its redistricting, the City Council adopted new precinct boundaries for the city in early March. Following the enactment of special legislation, the Council may then adopt another resolution adjusting only the line between precincts 17 and 18, where 7200 and 7220 York Avenue vote. Spring is in the air, and that means the street reconstruction season is just around the corner. Earlier this month, the City Council approved the reconstruction of Tracy Avenue from Benton Avenue to Vernon Avenue. The roadway will be widened from 36 to 40 feet to allow for a parking lane on the east side of the street and 5-foot bike lanes in either direction. Tracy Avenue was identified as a primary bike route in the city's comprehensive plan.
We're trying to push for more bike lanes, obviously, because for a number of reasons, safety being the biggest one. But the city's not going to go out next year and stripe all of these 50 bike routes. Some of them will never get striped. They're more residential streets, and the streets aren't wide enough to really justify having, specific bike lanes on them. But every year we want to kind of push forward with saying, this was the year that this part of Tracy was being redeveloped, so now's the time to do that.
Because the intersection is offset and could present safety issues near Countryside Elementary School, staff proposed a roundabout for the intersection of Tracy and Benton. Since no accidents have been reported there and several residents testified in opposition to it, council members did not include it in the project. The overall cost is estimated at nearly $1.3 million. Funding for this project will come from a combination of utility funds, special assessments, and state gas tax funds. All of the city's 2012 street reconstruction projects are expected to begin this spring, with substantial or complete construction by fall. Thanks for watching this episode of Agenda Edina. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty.